Hi everyone, welcome to another exciting vlog. It's the first one of 2019. Man, I've been waiting for this one because two of my favorite things just came out this week. Well, as you already know, Ammo by Bring Me the Horizon has just released, and honestly, it's a very barrier-breaking album, and I just can't get over just how good it is. Despite what metal purists think, I still think it's fucking amazing. And another thing we got is the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I haven't stopped playing ever since it came out. Whenever I have the free time, obviously. Very constrained on that. But, anyhow, let's begin. So, I want to talk about Ammo by Bring Me the Horizon. When Mantra first released, I thought it was really cool. When the music video released, it made me think, wow, this would be a really good research paper topic. And I ended up doing that for my junior seminar paper. We had to do a media analysis, and we pretty much had to compare a media piece that we liked to a concept that we learned in class, whether it's a culture, an ideology, or a discourse concept, so forth. So I wrote about Mantra and how it relates to mass consumerism, the ideology of consumerism, consumer culture, etc., etc. And it was very relatable because despite the difference that Mantra has with the general portrayal of mass corporations, it's still very similar. Because, you know, Ollie being the cult leader and the cult he finds, obviously, is very resemblant to greedy mass corporation CEOs and so forth. And I thought that was really interesting with the concept of consumer culture. And, I mean, even though that paper didn't perform very well, I still think it's very meaningful. And I will do my best to link that in the description if you guys ever want to read it. And also when Wonderful Life released, I thought, you know, this album might be very resemblant of Sempiterno with a mix of That's the Spirit. And that was probably the only time I ever made that assumption, because you think about it, you know, Danny Filth, Cradle of Filth, you think heavy shit. But this song wasn't as heavy as I would have hoped to have been, considering the feature, but it was still good. Still got some nice riffs. It's got a really catchy chorus. It's also very relatable, especially in my instance. And then when they released Medicine earlier this month, I was like, okay, this is not going to be Sempiterno, but I like this. I like when bands change, and whether you choose to like it or not, that's entirely up to you. But the thing about Medicine is that it really caught me. And when I watched the video for Medicine at the same time the song released, it was really disturbing. I know it's just animation, but it was just really disturbing. And I feel like with some bands that use pop sounds, they use that as a cover-up for the dark lyrics they write. And the lyrics were kind of dark. I can't lie. But Medicine was definitely a track that I enjoyed from Ammo. It was very pop. Of course, it's not going to receive a lot of good feedback from metal purist, old school Bring Me the Horizon fan, and that's okay. Bands change. When you change, that's a risk you're willing to take. You might lose fans, you might gain fans. That's just the business of changing in the music industry. And of course, Mother Tongue and Nihilist Blues released in the days coming up to Ammo releasing in full. I thought Mother Tongue was really catchy. It felt like a blend of Oh No and Follow You from their previous album, That's the Spirit. And of course, another catchy poppy song. I can't really complain, because like I said, I love when bands change. Other people can't really say the same though, because when they think Bring Me the Horizon, considering if they're day one fans, they think, oh man, Pray for Plagues, Chelsea Smile, Blessing with a Curse type of thing. They do not think of these tracks when they hear the name Bring Me the Horizon. Some people are willing to accept that they change, and some people are willing to accept that they might not like it. Others will just constantly complain about it. And that's the thing that irks me. It's like, you know, you want your favorite bands to succeed. And then when some of those bands succeed, some fans are happy for them, some just don't care, and then there are others that are just, I miss the old you. You can't stay the same forever. That definitely applies to Bring Me the Horizon in terms of their latest release, Ammo. Now, as far as the album in full, it's very diverse. You know, Ollie, Jordan, and the rest of the gang try their best to not stick with one sound. They do experiment a lot. Obviously, you've heard Mantra and Wonderful Life. Those are very rock-esque songs. Probably the closest thing you'll get to them doing somewhat metal. It's not very metal, but I guess alternative metal is a good term to use for those tracks. Nihilist Blues had a heavy, heavy electronic or electronic dance music vibe. And I thought, wow, this is new. This is the first time I've ever heard them like do something original that has to do with electronic or EDM. But I liked it. It's very mesmerizing. And then you have alternative songs like In the Dark, Sugar Honey Iced Tea. I was kind of disappointed when I heard the song Heavy Metal because, you know, you hear that track and you're like, oh, it's going to be heavy. It's not heavy. But it's groovy, but it's not heavy. That was a little bit of a letdown, but at the same time, I didn't really mind it. And then, of course, I don't know what to say. The closing track, it really caught my mind because I'm not very used to them using, I guess, orchestral intros. It was a good intro. It's something I rarely hear from them, but I liked it at the same time. And that's just the thing about Ammo, is that it's very diverse. It breaks barriers. It sends a message pretty much saying nobody stays the same. And of course, Ollie's already spoken about, you know, if you hate this album, you want the oldest back. You have every reason to. And personally, I agree with him, because a lot of people do not like it when bands change. Some change for better, some change for worse. I think in this instance, it's very debatable, but opinion-wise, I have to say this is a change for the better. Because, you know, nowadays they're out selling out shows, and they're doing in-store signings, which I don't know how often they do, because, you know, you got to think about it. A band this big, out in public, doing stuff like that, fans will go crazy. God knows what will happen next. But overall, Ammo is a really good album. It's definitely far from their best. I'm really happy that Mantra got nominated for a Grammy. I'd be okay if they didn't win. I still think it's Grammy worthy because of the message behind it. Definitely a 9 out of 10. Just because, you know, perfect albums almost never exist. And, you know, personally, I think if they keep going this route, things might turn for the better, things might turn for the worse. Either way, people are going to complain because it's Bring Me the Horizon. They're changing up. They're getting with the times, and some people hate to admit it, but that's just the thing now. You either get with the times or stay the same forever. But whether you stay the same or change, people are going to complain either way. So, you can't win with fans. Ammo, 9 out of 10. I fucking love this album. Moving on, I want to talk about Resident Evil 2, the remake that just released. Now, I've only played a couple chapters of this game, but I gotta admit, it's really fucking good. Like, I have not played a good Resident Evil like this one since the 7th one came out. And I know they haven't released any since then, but when you think about it, 4 was good. 5 was... It was good if you're really into action-based games. 6 was rubbish. And I really liked 6, but even I can admit that 6 was rubbish. Now, as far as the first 3, I'm going to go ahead and be honest with you. I did try to play through those games. I fucking hated it. Because I could not stand the camera angles and the controls in that game. And it was so easy for me to die. Like, I would get so frustrated just trying to figure out the controls and the camera angle. I just couldn't win with that game. But it was still worth the time that I took to play it. As far as the remake goes, it's amazing. Like, of course, since it's on PlayStation 4, it's going to have good graphics, a good frame rate. It's really well composed gameplay. I love that they put it in the style of Resident Evils 4, 5, and 6, because that's an entirely new take as opposed to the remakes of Resident Evils 0 and 1. And I gotta say, this took my breath away. It's rare that, you know, remasters, let alone new games, take my breath away, because, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 took my breath away, the Spider-Man game took my breath away. I have not played the new God of War yet, but I will get to that eventually. I'm so drawn into Resident Evil 2 Remake, and I just can't get enough of it. I cannot stop fucking playing it. I am though kind of sad that Matthew Mercer isn't voicing Leon in this video game, even though it is understandable, because Matthew Mercer has more of a matured adult voice, as opposed to the voice actor they picked for this game. who actually sounds still youthful. And the thing about this game is that, of course, it's a remake, but it's still 1998, I guess. And at that time in the Resident Evil franchise, Leon's still a fetus. So, but all in all, it's a really good game. The story, of course, is really good. Still just as creepy as the original game, which I gotta love. I think Capcom's gonna be on a good streak this year. You know, they remastered the Devil May Cry trilogy and the Mega Man X collection last year. Of course, they put out the remake this past Friday. And of course, they're releasing Devil May Cry 5, which I cannot fucking wait for. I may review that next, but I'm so excited. Well, I hope you enjoyed my first vlog of 2019. It's been really fun doing this, and I cannot wait to continue. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. Check out my other channels. I may be uploading on those soon. And if you haven't watched my short film, I will put that link in the description. And be sure to follow me on my social if you want to keep up to date about my crazy antics, because I do come up with those pretty frequently. Well, I hope you enjoyed what you see. Speak to you guys later. Bye.